According to the latest round of polling, a majority of people in the United States want Donald Trump's tax returns made public. 56% to 27% believe that the public should be able to see what is hiding in those tax returns. 27% say, nope, it's none of our business. We don't need to see that. All hail King Trump. I just added that little part. They didn't say that. Probably. These numbers get broken down a little bit more. Out of the people who think we should see the taxes, you have 30% who believe they would reveal information that would challenge Donald Trump's competency to serve as president of the United States. 22% say that it would be not necessarily ending his political career, but it would be very harmful to his career. 27% say they're probably not going to show anything worthwhile at all, but they still think we should see them. And then the rest really don't have an opinion one way or the other. So that is a little bit of an interesting dichotomy. It is almost even between the people who say, yep, it's going to totally end his presidency, and those who say, we want to see him, but you're not going to find anything. I personally happen to fall somewhere in those first two categories of it's probably really bad, but it may not be bad enough to end his presidency, but it could be, because what I'm thinking is hiding in these tax returns is, one, either information showing that Donald Trump is not worth as much as he said he was, which would implicate him in quite a lot of bank fraud, which could end his presidency, or two, you may find evidence of some kind of illegal dealings in there. I wish you could find that. Trust me, I do. I just don't know that you're going to see it there. I think the bank fraud, lying about his net worth, which would be both a hit to his ego and implicate him in felony bank fraud, I think that's the more realistic one. Of course, again, there's also the possibility that there's nothing in there. But since we don't have them, and the White House repeated this week that Democrats, you're not going to get your hands on these things, all we can do is speculate as to why they keep hiding them from the public. If they were totally awesome and perfectly clean tax returns, just like with the Mueller report, every American would already be issued a copy of them, because Trump would want to brag to us about how clean he is, how rich he is, and how great he is. Since that hasn't happened and they refuse to even let us see digital versions of them, I'm inclined to believe that there's something in there he obviously doesn't want us to see. Now here's the counter of this. Not necessarily a counter, but it's, I guess, the other part of it. We still have a lot of Democrats running for president, including all but 4 of them who have not yet released their tax returns. And as such, we're also starting to see a little bit of the craziness, the media hype over these Democrats not releasing their tax returns. Most of it is heaped on Bernie Sanders. And the reason for that is obviously he has had the longest time to release them. But nobody's really talking about the fact that, the other 4 have released, minus Bernie because he also hasn't. 17! The other 17 Democrats running for president have also not released their tax returns, and we do need to see those. I don't think, especially with the case of Bernie Sanders, I don't think we're going to see anything in there that's going to be illegal, that's going to disqualify him from being president. I think it's going to show that maybe he makes decent money, as other people have already pointed out. And then they're going to try to say, oh, he can't care about the poor because he's not a poor. I think with Beto O'Rourke, I think we're going to see he makes a hell of a lot of money, and that's going to turn some people off. But overall, there's not going to be any disqualifying information. At least that's my theory on it. Whether you love or hate the folks, they're probably not doing illegal stuff. Trump, on the other hand, we know that he's lied about his net worth in order to secure loans, which is bank fraud, and that's why these tax returns are important. That's why they matter. And that's also likely part of the reason why a majority of the American public says, Donald, hand over your tax returns. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.